My name is Alicia, and I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and I own my own private practice, and I teach other nurse practitioners how to find freedom and balance in their lives by starting their own private practices as well. So today I'm real cozy and casual. I am at my family's house, but we are talking about not a very casual subject today. We're talking about finding collaborating physicians to help with our private practices when we are in restrictive states. This is a big topic, and I'm only going to scratch the surface today, but I hope that it will help some of you guys. And let's jump into it. So to give you guys just a little bit of background, if you are just starting your NP journey or just thinking about school or just thinking about private practice or you're trying to understand it, let's first start by talking about what am I talking about this collaboration thing, and then what am I talking about what is a collaborating physician. So in several states in the United States, it is required state regulation that nurse practitioners have supervision or collaboration by a physician. And that can mean lots of different things. That can mean in some states of certain types of prescriptions. That can mean that they need co-signatures on their notes. That can simply mean that they just need someone to be available by phone should they have a question. So it can mean a lot of different things. And so if you're a nurse practitioner wanting to start a private practice and you are in a restrictive state, you are going to need one of our wonderful physician colleagues to help us out, to provide collaboration and supervision. So that is a little bit of background. And if you guys are not sure of what your state requires, you're going to need to be intimately familiar with what your specific state requires if you are wanting to start a private practice. So I recommend starting by going to the AANP website and look under State Practice Environment. I can put the link below. There's even more information if you are a member of the AANP, but there's a little bit on if you're not. Like, for example, there's this little picture of US and kind of all the states, and some are green and some are yellow and some are red. And so the green states are where you have full practice autonomy. The yellow states, usually there's some type of restriction, like you need to practice with a physician collaborator for a couple of years and then you can be fully autonomous. And then the red ones typically mean that you will need collaboration for the length of your NP career in that state. And so next, let's talk about what the heck is a collaborator or a physician supervisor. So each state has a different term or a different meaning to it, but I'm gonna say collaboration. Know that there are two terms and they can mean different things in different states. Typically, what is a collaborating physician? Pretty much just what it sounds like. It is an individual that is a licensed physician. And something that's very interesting and that we intimately know in psychiatry is that usually we are collaborating with psychiatrists. Some states do not require you to collaborate with a psychiatrist, that you can basically collaborate with any type of physician. To be honest, in my state, I haven't even looked up that requirement because I just would always recommend collaborating with a psychiatrist. I don't really know what the purpose would be for them to collaborate and help you and answer your questions if they weren't actually able to answer your questions. And that would have to be someone, most likely have to be someone that's in your same specialty. I do recommend that it is a psychiatrist for those of us that are in psychiatry. That's just my specific opinion. The other thing that's really important is just like legally, if you are asked, did you talk to your collaborating physician about this? Yes. And then they look and see what your collaborating physician is licensed in, and if they're like a podiatrist and you're in psychiatry, it's gonna look strange. And like I said, I personally, I'm not looking just for a physician to be on paper. Like, genuinely want to learn from them, want to use them as a second opinion, want to run those really hard cases by them. I want to use collaboration in the way that it's intended to. I'm not just looking for someone on paper. So I do think that it's a really beneficial, and I do recommend that all my NP colleagues consider using someone in their same specialty so that they can use it to get their questions answered, really, because none of us know everything. There's always going to be time that you run across a question. And so it's great because you're already paying them to be there and help you. So what are the requirements for collaboration? This is another tough one. It is very detailed for each state. You're going to have to look to lawyers, mentors, maybe your NP school, your state board of nursing to find out what specifically that state is wanting to prove that you've done collaboration or supervision or whatever. They do mentor psych nurse practitioners starting private practices, and so I have even deeper knowledge on this, and I have even deeper knowledge on this as it relates to my state. In my state, we need to have standardized procedures and collaborative agreements, and so this video would be way longer if we were to talk about this. But if you are interested in my full mentorship program, I do have examples of all of these. I go into detail. Not enough time on YouTube. I'm putting all of those resources into my full program, and so if you are interested in that, there's a link below where you can watch my masterclass and see what it's all about and then apply, if you are looking to start a private practice as a psych NP. And we have NPs all over the US. It's incredible. Right now it's early 2024 and we just hit 80 members. Another thing that people wonder is, how do I know that a doctor is specifically good to supervise with? I also talk about this more in detail in my program, but a few things that you're gonna wanna look out for is don't rely on the physician to know what collaboration is or the requirements, because usually you're the first NP that they will have collaborated with. That happens really often, and so it's really important, and it's your responsibility, because it's your business, to be in compliance, to know what you're requiring of the physician and talk through that with them. So other things that you're going to want to look for is just that they're open to talking to you, answering your questions, talking on the phone or texting or whatever is required or needed, so that they're open to that and that they're not just going to expect to just be a name on paper. The thing that you're going to want to look for is just that you have a similar treatment philosophy and that they see a similar patient population to you. If you're working in pediatrics and all that they see is Suboxone clinic, might not be, they'll be able to answer your questions. They're still a psychiatrist, but sometimes it's even nicer to even have someone that's even closer, like the type of patient that they and you see similar types of patients. Like, for example, my collaborator, who I think is incredible and just brilliant, he and I used to work at a children's hospital together. And so we know that we like to work together. He's a child and adolescent psychiatrist. I see a lot of teens, kids, and young adults. It's pretty nice, really nice to have someone that does similar to what I do. And he's also an integrative psychiatrist. I've done treatment programs and a fellowship in integrative psychiatry, so we both value that, which is really great. How much do you pay them? So this is going to vary based on if you co-own the practice with them or you own the practice. It can vary a little bit. What I'm hearing the most, so I'm filming this video in early 2024, the most common rates I'm hearing is between $500 and $1,000 a month is what you should be budgeting for. But again, all these things can vary. And I once had a collaborator that was willing to step in when I had a prior collaborator be able to collaborate with me, and he charged me anything for 6 months or whatever. But he and I had a really good relationship, and he was basically retiring, and so he was like, I don't need your money. But honestly, I do think physicians should be compensated. I guess I'm just saying out there is that it can vary. It can be zero, it can be more than 1,000. But I do think physicians should be compensated for their time, because I believe that everyone should be compensated for their time. Is it frustrating that we have to budget for this? Yeah, sometimes, but everyone should be compensated for their time and work. So that's about what I'm seeing out there. And I've mentored now 80 psych practitioners and starting practices. The most common, and actually even more common, is just like in the middle, like 700-800. Finally, what everyone is wanting to know the most in this video, and that is, how do you find a collaborator? One big way, I think the best way, is to lean on your connections. Like I said, I used to work with my collaborator, so we know we're moving and grooving. When we're talking in supervision, we're like, oh yes, that, like, very used to each other. Because he's now been collaborating with me multiple jobs, multiple years. So lean on your connections. I think that's the best way. Talk to friends, just kind of saying out there, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this. Just like anything else, if you're looking for a job, you lean on all your friends from NP school or whoever you're on your school boards, post everywhere. So lean on your connections. The other one is you could put a post on Indeed, but that does require you to really know what's required in your state, right? Because you have to put exactly what you're looking for. And finally, joining a mentorship program like mine, I help my mentees find psychiatrists that are willing to collaborate with them. I have been lucky enough to make relationships with several physicians with like licenses, so that they're very NP friendly and really want to support people in my program specifically. So I will help everyone that joins my program try to find a physician collaborator, just as I help with all other things of private practice building. And the other beautiful thing is that our group now, like I said, over 80 at 80 members now as of today, all help each other. Like, for example, we had some physicians that said they didn't have any more slots anymore, and so it was really cool. One of our members was like, hey, when I was looking for a physician, I had this guy and this guy and this gal, and you guys could connect with them. And we just have so many people in our group that all want to help each other. It's a really wonderful group that I've built, and so we will all help each other. And that's another part of leaning on your connections, and so being a part of a group like that can be really helpful. And so if you're interested in joining my group, link is below. And in conclusion, I think it's important to say that there are so many pieces to collaboration. There is, how do you handle insurance? How do you chart supervision or collaboration? How do you find a lawyer that can help you be in compliance? How often do you do supervision? Things like that. And so I can't cover everything. There's so many things, and there's so many variations in everyone's state. And I intimately know my state, which I think is one of the most restrictive ones. All I can say is that it's impossible to cover all of these things and more in a short YouTube video. But again, if you would like to work with me in a mentorship capacity, I would love to have you. My information is down below on how to get started with my mentorship by watching the masterclass. And thank you so much for watching. It helps me so much if you like and subscribe, comment, so please do that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.